Okay, now that the oils are melted and we are sitting at, gotta mix it, 186 degrees, we're good to add our other oils. And this is the jojoba and the wheat germ. Waste not, want not. Sorry about the tapping. Alright, I'm going to mix those around. And you're going to notice that I'm going to not stick blend for a couple of minutes. So this is down to 175. It's a little cool, but it'll be fine. It's gonna warm up. And I have my crock pot turned from high to warm. And you see all the different utensils, right? And they're all kind of separated because I have another batch that I will be doing. That's that Goldilocks shampoo. And so I'll be able to reuse this container without having to wash it because it's just lye water and glycerin. And that will be the same thing that goes into the next one. This one has the jojoba and wheat germ, so I'm actually not going to be reusing this one, so that's why it is separated. Okay, so what's going on now is, yeah, you can kind of see it. The oil and the lye are getting to know each other. And I described it in the bar soap recipe. Is basically we're making a mingle until we make them actually marry. So we're letting them get to know each other. KOH takes a little bit longer time to really bind with the fat molecules and then transition into soap. So a lot of people go in there straight with their stick blender and they burn out their motors. And since I am a penny pincher, I have learned to let them mingle, let them get to know each other, especially when you're dealing with high temperatures. They're going to stay liquid longer. So let them mingle, let them get to know each other for a longer period of time. And then we begin our stick blending and we don't instantly go hard the entire time. And I think I kind of went into it a little bit. I may not have, but there's just a big difference in technique and timing between bar soap and liquid soap. So with bar soap, there's the trace where it's like sits on the top, right? But trace for a liquid soap is much different, and I will hopefully be able to show you what trace is. So I'm starting to see a little bit of texture on the top, and that means that they're actually starting to bind. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in my stick blender just for maybe a minute. You'll see it's starting to change. You can actually start to see almost an applesauce consistency. And so with liquid soap, you still have to watch out for volcanoes when you're cooking it. I'm sure you've ran across, maybe this is your first soap making video, but volcanoes are when the saponification has produced a lot of gas underneath. and it will make it rise up. And it's just happening super fast because anything high in coconut oil does saponify pretty quickly, especially at a high temperature. Okay, and that's it for that. Not all the way done. We're just going to let them mingle a little bit more. And we're going to let the separation happen. We actually need the separation to happen so we can start dealing with just the oil. And the soap is, you know, kind of like making layers. You see that it's starting to break up again, and this is the separation I was talking about. Let it happen. Don't fight it. So I see a lot of people, because I watch a lot of videos, because there's people that maybe know things that I don't know, that maybe I've never heard of. I'm always looking for better techniques, so I really appreciate those that are sharing their techniques. And I see a lot of people just pushing. You're pushing too hard, so it's like beading. You can't push your beadwork too hard, too fast, or you're going to mess it up. Soap making is kind of the same principle, that you have specific amount of beads or a specific amount of ingredients that you need to make happen and do something. But you need to let them take their time and lie how they need to lie. So when you're forcing beadwork, you're going to get bunching. When you're forcing soap making, you're going to burn out your stick bender or possibly get a false trace. So you can start to see some of the puffiness, and that is a volcano starting. Or the excessive heat and oil coming together fast. Which is fine, I don't mind. But that means that we are on the verge of trace, even though it's all separated. And that glycerin actually makes it go fast. Oh. And you have trace. So trace becomes very hard. Mine will not go super hard. If this was just water, this would be almost impossible to stir. And as you can see, it's still very difficult to stir. but it's like a really thick mashed potato. And we actually need to watch for false trace. So if this is not traced, it will separate. You'll get yourself an oil layer and it will separate. And so you need a spatula and your spoon. Spatula to clean your spoon. Spatulas are just like silicone spatulas, are just not hard enough to turn those. And that's it. We're going to put the cap on, and if it separates, I'll bring you back so you can see the failure. And if it doesn't separate, then I'll bring you back in stages so you can see it cooking. Alright, so I'm going to give it its first look. It's been about 30 minutes. And no oil separation. All that liquid is actually just condensation. Cool. Still squishy. And I'm going to get my other spoon, my metal spoon, and turn this. And you'll see there's different colors. You have some translucent, darker, and then you have the lighter, opaque. Opaque means you can't see through it. And so that is the different phases that the soap is happening at. So it looks like it's good, and we're just going to let it keep on cooking. And I'll come back and I'll stir it another half hour. I probably won't bring you back for that because it's going to be the same exact thing. And I'll bring you back closer to the change, to the change that will occur when it gets close to being done. It will all turn that darker gold color, and it will be translucent. And that will be when we will begin testing it for clarity or for lye excess. So there's a couple different tests that we do to ensure that it is done properly. So that is the next step, is just let it cook for a few hours. I'm going to keep turning it every half hour or so, and let it do what it needs to do. Alright, we're back, and we're going to be doing a clarity test on this. So, as you can see, it's all translucent. And we're going to take a good chunk of it. We're going to put it into some hot distilled water. And we're going to begin to dilute it. And if we can read through it, then it is good and cooked. And if it is too cloudy to read through, then it is not good enough. Could be unsaponifiables, could be lye excess, but we know we have a lye excess. A lot of people want it crystal clear, but we're going to sequester this for about 2 to 3 weeks. So this is clear, which means that we are able to read through it, and the rest of the clearing will actually happen during the sequestering period. So that is good to me, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to neutralize it and dilute it.